Well, good morning, and happy Thursday. Welcome to another episode of Conversations Unleashed. It is Michael Bonner here. I am so honored and so glad that you all chose to come join me this morning. I hope your day is starting well. I hope you're off to a good start. It is Thursday, October the 23rd. This is when I'm releasing it. And I'm going to thank y'all for just joining and sticking along with me. Every week, there are about 400 to 500 of you that listen consistently. And I thank you for your support. I thank you for every post. I thank you for even tuning in. And I really do appreciate you. And today, we're going to have fun with this topic because I think it's very important. And I want you to tune in. I want you to get your water. I want you to get your coffee. I want you to get on the treadmill, walk with me. If you're driving to work, turn me up. If you're getting ready in the class, turn me up. If you're a leader, CEO, fit me in through the day. But today we're going to unleash a very powerful topic that I think is going to be very powerful. So let's get into it. Let's go. Everyone, if you've been following the podcast this year, you will know that this year I've been very open about shifting and changing things in my personal life and how the current systems that I was operating on before 2025 for where I'm going next, they are no longer working for me. They need to be modified. And I'm a fan of not waiting until January to start a new year goals. I believe in getting into the routine and stuff now. And one of the things I've discovered and looked at, and I think Mel Robbins says something about it on her Breakfast Club interview, is that success is boring. The process to it is boring. We live in this time where people are so fascinated by the glitz and glam that they don't understand the very simple tasks that get you to that level of success. And in order to have that level of success, you have to do two very boring things that aren't talked about enough, but they are extremely difficult to do. And what is that? Have discipline and be consistent. Have discipline and be consistent. I know for a fact this podcast would probably be further ahead if I was more disciplined and consistent. And if you study any great person that has failed in life or had a hiccup, you will learn that they failed in one of those categories, being disciplined enough to say no or consistent enough to keep going. And that's a message for a whole nother day, right? But success can be boring. But what we do know is when you do the boring things consistently, that is when you get the actual results. That is when you start to see the fruit of your labor. And I've talked to you about patterns in my life, and hopefully you took the time to look at patterns in your life and hopefully begin to recognize that, hey, what little boring things I can implement now that will give me a profitable future, right? You're going to turn into who you see yourself becoming, but it starts with changing and shifting things now. So here's a couple things, y'all, that are boring, that are extremely boring, but super effective. Imagine if you drink water for 30 days straight, only water, just water, not electrolyte drinks from Kroger and not the Arden Garden smoothies I get sometimes. Shout out to Arden's Gardens. We have some cool stuff coming soon. Imagine if you drink water for just 30 days straight. Very simple, boring. Check this out. Drinking water only for 30 days can flush out toxins and improve digestion and enhance skin clarity by reducing sugar and chemical intake. It also improves your energy and levels of hydration and blood pressure. All of those effects from doing something as simple as drinking water. All right, here's another one. Fasting. Not eating certain things, right, for 72 hours. It triggers a natural body process of cleaning out damaged cells and regenerating new ones. It can result in insulin sensitivity and improve immune function while promoting mental clarity. Something very boring, such as saying I'm going to eat a limited amount of meals or intermediate fasting, will allow your body to feel like brand new. Let's go to another one. Investing into the S&P 500. You all know that I'm a pro advocate of investing, because I recognize that we live in a capitalistic society where you need capital, you need money. And America has some of the best companies in the entire world, also known as the Magnificent Seven. If you invested, everybody, into the S&P for 20 years straight with 8 to 10% annual returns, you are more than likely to end up being a millionaire. Putting the same amount into the bank account and your investments every month. Same amount. Boring, but the result is incredible. Here's the thing that I want to point out to you. Success is, with the water, having a clear skin, flushing out toxins. Success is fasting, right? Your body is regenerating new cells so you have more mental clarity. Success is having the amount of money, not to flash and be exaggerated in your lifestyle, but to have the choice, right? Wealth is about having the choice if you want to do it or not. Everybody wants the end result and the symptoms of those things, but nobody wants to go through the process, which can be very boring. And right now, with my sixth graders, they are a very, very brilliant crew. And even in my own personal life, I'm preaching this message to them, right? And letting them know that even though it is boring, it is still taking place, even though you can't see it. Oftentimes, I think that's what catches us off guard, whether it's good decisions or bad decisions, that it is having an internal effect first, and then it manifests itself externally, right? Like, for example, if someone is going through a really tough breakup, right? Those thoughts, the narratives they are telling themselves around that raw data is curating a crazy story internally, but then over time, those thoughts will feed bad habits, right? You had a breakup, your thoughts are going crazy, you're talking about yourself, you are indicting yourself. Next thing you know, externally, what happens? Well, you start probably drinking, or you may start smoking, or you may start getting into more toxic relationships. Those little things, that process will eventually begin to show itself externally. So one of the things that I really want to focus on as we are ending out October in my life and in my classroom is really preaching to my students, myself, business partners, etc. Hey, everybody, can we just continually do the boring things, right? The things that we know work and put it into our process? Because I think from there is where we'll see real fruit. We'll see real fruit. And I want to share a couple things with you because if you know me, one of the things I try to be is results driven. And I like getting results because results will flesh out opinions all day. I don't care what you say about whatever I have going on. If I'm getting results in my life that are positively impacting people, positively impacting my community, well, then your opinion only holds so much weight, especially when you don't have results yourself. So with this sixth grade crew, I have been shifting systems around in my class because I'm trying to see growth in another area outside of iReady. And what that means is we have to do boring things, right? There's an article called Every Child, Every Day, which was written by ASCD. It's a very prestigious organization inside of education. But they wrote an article that was introduced to me by Corey Collins, the reading expert here at the Ron Clark Academy. And what happened is they list 6 things that every good reading teacher should do to help their children improve in reading. Now, here's the kick, everybody. They are not fancy things that you may think, like AI generated images and, students hanging from the ceiling, engaging in discourse. Like it's not that. It is very simplistic, boring, but very effective things. Like, listen to this because I have to convince my 6th graders to do it. Number 1, they say every child reads something he or she chooses, right? Number 2, every child reads accurately. Number 3, every child reads something he or she understands. Number 4, every child writes about something personally meaningful. Number 5, every child talks with peers about reading and writing. And number 6, every child listens to a fluent adult read out loud. All of those things have been statistically proven by research to help a child improve with their reading. The thing is convincing the students and teachers how to do those boring things that would get them to the end result, which is be better readers. And that is going to be a hard conversation you have to have with your children. It's going to be a great conversation I want to have with my children. I think one of the things I'm going to get them to do to buy in is just be personal with them, right? One of the reasons, I don't talk about this often, but one of the reasons why I did not succeed in my collegiate basketball career, even though I had the potential to, is I wasn't doing the boring things enough, right? I wasn't putting myself through intense workouts enough to the level of competition we were playing against. I wasn't doing enough of just every day. Let me make 500 shots per day or 300 shots per day. And that is why I got the result that I did. And I've learned when you are pouring into people, like I talk to you, and when you are trying to motivate people, they love transparency. They love the ability for you just to tell the real and how do you get to where you got to. And that's why I love doing this podcast, because it's a documentation of my life as I grow, but it's also breadcrumbs for those that really want to listen. And if you study any successful person, there is a period and multiple periods where you have to do the boring things to get to the end result that you want. Okay. So with those 6 things, you can rewind it back and listen to it. But I want to introduce those to my kids, and we're going to have a really deep conversation about them, because I want to see growth. That's all I care about. I want to see growth. So I wanted you to think about something for me. 2025 is coming to an end. And baby, we have been here together. And for my community, I like encouraging you with love, with kindness, which I've learned in therapy that I'm showing towards myself. I want you to think about this. Don't wait until January to start your new year. You can start right now. Okay? Don't wait until January to start your new year. You can start right now. If you study any gym membership acceptance rate, it will show you that it skyrockets towards the end of Q4 and the beginning of Q1, because everybody has this New Year resolution. I want to challenge you. Let's change some things right now. Let's be kind to yourself and change some things right now. So this is the one I want you to think about. I want you to pick 3 things that you're going to be more consistent with and disciplined with as we end out 2025. What is my main reason for doing that? Well, one, we know that consistency and discipline with the right things will yield great results. But number 2, what we need to recognize as well is this, that if you get a head start on it now, it will give you the momentum you need when the new year comes in. Your habits and your systems are already in place, and I think that's going to be important. So I'll start first. I'll be transparent with you. Okay. So for me, here's 3 things that I am going to be more consistent with. And before we talk about shifting things, right, getting into a process, I want you to put yourself in the right mindset, because I found myself using this language. I'm trying, right? Or I'm trying to do this. And there's a quote by Yoda that has fully arrested me. And it says this. He says, either do or don't, there is no try. I'll say that again. Either do or don't, there is no try. So either you are doing things to make you more healthier, or you're doing things to make you not healthy, unhealthy. Either you're doing things to make you wealthier, or you're doing things to push you towards poverty. Either you are doing things that are pushing you to be a better communicator in person that will be great in a friendship relationship with family, or you are pushing more towards the toxic end. There really is no neutral. You're either moving one or 2 ways. So let's set a target for where you're moving towards. And I'm going to tell you the target that I'm moving towards in my personal life. Okay. So for me, here's 3 things. And I'll start. The first one for me, everybody, is going to be prayer. Yes, prayer for me. And I'm going to tell you why. I am not ashamed to say the level of success and stuff that I have and who I am, from how I look to my height, to where I work, to my business, to the public accolades, to the private accolades, to the public failures, to the private failures, to the public grace and private grace. Everything that Michael Lee Bonner Jr. has activating in his life right now is nothing but by the grace of God. I am not going to sit here and lie to you today. I am not that nice. I'm good. I'm really good at what I do, and I'm getting better day by day, but I'm not that nice. And what happens is people will allow pride and stubbornness to get in your way to make you think you can just keep doing it by yourself. Any celebrity that is publicly on TV, just like Ellen did for me, any celebrity can pull another teacher up on their platform and get behind them, and that will build up their audience, and they can take off just like I did. So one of the things I want to focus on is getting back into prayer more, dedicated time to pray, to center myself. Because let me tell you this, when you are a leader and you're serving not only just adults like I do with the keynote speaking, but precious, brilliant, sweet, dynamic, growing children that are developing, you have to be on point. Because if I come into this classroom or if I go out and to do a speech and I have the wrong mentality, I am therefore almost putting the people I'm serving in harm's way because I'm not in the right mind state. And if I'm not in the right mind state, I may say something, do something, or treat somebody in a way that's completely horrific. And I don't want to live my life that way. I am 35 years old. I am trying, y'all, to live a long time. I'm trying to ask God to get me to 85 and 90. Even though the expectancy for black men, I think, is 59 to 61, I want to make it to 85 and 90. Okay. And in order to get there, I know that depends on how I treat people and how I'm operating personally. So for me, the first one is prayer. And I'm gonna tell you how I know I have more time to do it. You know how you have more time to meditate and we have more time to pray, we have more time to journal, and we have more time to breathe. Look at our social media consumption. If you look at how much we're on these phones, you will therefore find where all your time is going there in regards to centering yourself, right? So that's the first one for me. All right. The next one is going to be nutrition and gym. Nutrition and the gym. I went to my Winston-Salem State homecoming last week, and I did not graduate from there. I started there in my first 2 years, but it made a very meaningful impact on me. Some of my closest friends that I've known for 15 plus years, we went to Winston-Salem State University together, right? And every time I go back, I often laugh because I see older photos of me at 18, 19 years old. And I chuckle because I'm like, oh, my boy, you're getting a little bit heavier out here, Michael, right? And the truth be told, we all are changing as you get older. Your body begins to shift. But what I have learned is that you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have health, if your body isn't malleable, being able to move and fluid, and your digestion system doesn't work well, then it doesn't care about the money or the success or who you know, right? Or the followers, right? Or the vacations you may post. So for me, nutrition and gym are going to be important. And it doesn't have to be me becoming a bodybuilder, but everybody, what I have learned is that our bodies do respond differently based on what we put in them. And it's a fight. I love a good all-star special from Waffle House. Okay. I love a good four-piece dark meat, spicy Popeyes chicken. Okay. I love a good hot bowl of ramen consistently. Oh my gosh. I love Italian food. You know how I feel about seafood and crab legs, but I'm not as young as I used to be. And putting those things in my body is going to affect me negatively because I have to serve kids here. I have to continue to travel throughout the world because I'm believing and praying that speeches and stuff are going to return to what they were, and that I'm going to be able to be more effective, and people are going to bring me out to speak. And I can't get on stage if I'm out of breath and if I have a migraine or if my blood pressure is high. So nutrition and gym are my number two that I'm going to get more consistent with. But the last one is this, and this deals with me as a teacher, is that I want to make sure that I get back to consistently pushing my kids to independent reading and accountability with what they're reading. Because at least I know if they're reading text and interacting with text every single day, that consistent, boring thing that looks boring, just reading a book, by the end of the year is going to yield great fruit with their ability to be able to analyze text, to find the central idea, to find the main idea, to find the tone and mood, right? That is going to be super important. And how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to read with them. On my YouTube family, you know, I'm in the classroom right now, but I have 2 books I'm reading right there on my desk. I have some more books that I'm about to dive into. So those are 3 things for me. My question to you, what will be the 3 things for you? What's the 3 things you can get started on right now? 3 things that will positively impact you. Yours may be, hey, I'm going to drink a half a gallon of water per day. Yours may be, you know what, I want to have 2-3 cheat days out of the week, but for 4 days, I want to eat healthy. Yours may be, I'm going to sit down with my person, once per week for 5 to 10 minutes. And baby, how can I better serve you? Right? How can I be a better partner to you? And hopefully if you have a good person, they're going to reciprocate that question right back to you, because we know relationships take 2 people actively showing up and choosing each other every single day. I want you to think about that. I am here to tell you and to declare and let you know, do not fall victim to what you see on social media, right? The fruit of what you're seeing on social media, those pictures and videos are fruit unless people give you the actual behind the scenes, you must ask yourself, what type of process are they taking themselves through to get them to where they're at? Right? People may see me doing speeches and stuff now, right? But you know what a boring process I've been doing? Truth be told, when I was 25, living in Cherry Court Apartments, Greenville, North Carolina, I was paying $425 per month. That rent is now $850 per month for that same one bedroom. Talk about inflation. And y'all, the shower, if I step in there now, the shower, I was looking at it like this, like eye to eye. But if I'm transparent, I used to like pretend like somebody was asking me important questions, and I would try to elaborate in the shower. So essentially I was talking to myself, right? But I was practicing. I don't even know why I was doing that. But that boring practice is what allows me to get on stage and pour into my vernacular and lexicon and find words to motivate people, inspire, convict, and push them towards change. That skill that I have now came from the same boring practice, right? Me releasing a new keynote every year, which doesn't happen. It's not a normal practice. Me designing something new that people can feed on. I've been doing that same boring thing for the past 7 years, but thank God my business is still in business for the past 7 years. I haven't gone bankrupt and it's still profitable. So I just want to let y'all know that, okay? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate every DM that you send me. I try my best to get to them. And if you ever have any real question or something you want me to address, send it to my email. It is mbonner54@gmail.com. But I am hopeful, I am prayerful that 2025 has been a year that's pushed us, whether good or bad for either of us, but 2026 is just going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. Even now, if you know me and you've heard me talk about it in the speeches, I have around my neck, I have a money goal that I want to give towards teachers. I have a scripture that I live myself by, right? That I guide myself by. And I also have my word for the year. And already now my mind is starting to curate what is that word, scripture, and giving goal going to be for next year. So join me in this process, all right? Because success is not by accident. It's very intentional. And it can be very boring as far as the process. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. I want you to take care of yourself, and I want you to have an incredible rest of your day. All right? Take care. Peace.